These people who were born poor got rich. Good day, PGs. Today we're hearing the stories of several different people of how they got rich from scratch. Let's start the video. This is by an unknown user. I'm a child of immigrants who was raised by the state. I grew up in a mix of foster and group home. Once I turned 18, I was given a packet with my important documents and released on my own. I had nothing to my name and nowhere to go, so I joined the Marines. I spent 6 years deployed and saved every penny that I could. I lived in barracks, ate at the galley, and drove an 86 Jimmy I bought cash. After getting my DD-214, I took my savings and bought a small shop in Predator. For the next 2 years, I literally lived in my shop and ate fries and ketchup. Wow, that's a nice meal. I built my sign shop from the ground up. Now employ 12 full-timers and 4 part-timers. My net worth is close to 8 figures, and I still work every day though. Just to clear some things up, I've been in business for almost a decade now. My primary income comes from several large national contracts building pylons, channel letters, and large-scale outdoor signs. Most of my net worth is tied in my company. It takes a lot of expensive outdoor signs. It takes a lot of expensive machinery to do this type of work. Also, I had my small shop expanded and bought 2 others really cheap. Due to the city getting richer and gentrification, my property value has skyrocketed. I rent out the other 2 buildings to separate businesses so I get income from them as well. The downside is property taxes have risen with the value, so paying that sucks. Next one is all around. Stock options from working at a tech company that went unicorn. You lose a hefty chunk, half to taxes when you aren't starting with lots of cash to play with from the get-go, which is frustrating. But in the end, you'll still have a life of changing amounts of money. Next is from Seek_0. I'm a self-made millionaire. Net worth is greater than $1 million and less than $10 million. I came from a lower middle-class family. Both my parents grew up in the 30s depression and came from poor families. I have memories of my mother crying late at night in the mid-70s when I was a child and found out as an adult it was not having enough money for bills at the time. Inflation got crazy. I suspect that most will have a similar story to mine. Luck and hard work. The TLDR version is I started my own company in a technical field that eventually became very successful. The backstory is that I did the same work for others and figured out I'd be better on my own. And the last company I worked for changed their minds about their businesses and laid myself and co-workers off. And that ended up being a huge gift. That's the luck part. Once I was on my own, so to speak, it was make or break, and I put 60 to 80 hour weeks, about 40 weeks a year, and kept it up for years, making sure I had the best product and customer service of anyone in my particular specialty. Starting from scratch, it would be hard, and mostly because I'm older, I'm not sure if I could do it again. Although if I was 30, I don't doubt that I could. I will say for certain it doesn't involve working for anyone besides yourself, unless you're using some short-term employment for someone else as an educational tool. Learning a business you don't know anything about, for example, before moving to your own business. Simply put, if you work for someone else, all the profits of your labor are going to them and not to you. You're an expense to them, and they are in the position of deciding how much of the gross profit they'll spend on you as an expense. It doesn't matter how good of a company or boss you have. That's how the accounting works. If I were starting from scratch, I'd still be going after something tech-related. Emerging high-growth fields that would have my eye would be robotics or data mining analysis. From my past experience, I'd also be very mindful you need something that scales well, e.g. generates more profits and less expense as it gets bigger. For a simple example, compare an auto mechanic to an auto manufacturer. The mechanic can only work 12 to 16 hours a day. His earnings scale up with his hours. A manufacturer can design something once, pay for tooling once, and profits scale up far faster than the fixed costs do. Software and software tools are similar. After the fixed cost, the incremental profits per unit code scale up fast. Next is Poor Princess. My husband and I dropped out of college and got ourselves into a big pharma company. We then went on to night school for free and got our degrees. We both got promoted every few years, and as we climbed the corporate ladder, we never changed our standard of living. I wouldn't say we're super rich, but we'll never have to worry about money. Side note, my husband was often teased at the office for being the only executive for not driving a high-end car. In the executive parking lot, there were BMWs, Ferraris, etc. And my husband's was pickup truck. Next one is another unknown user. I became rich by my country's standards by starting off as an employee, saving a little money each month until I was able to buy myself some tools, started my own business, wielding 12 to 14 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Always took care so that I spent as little as possible and did my best as a welder, becoming better and better over the years. I did a lot of reading, taking courses for everything from metallurgy to logistics and planning, and talked as much as I could to advertise my business, never refused a job unless it wasn't profitable. It was a hard path to take, but so damn worth it. What do you guys think of this one? What do you guys think of all these answers above? Do you think it is useful or do you think it's all bullcrap? Nonetheless, these are all the reasons why these people got rich, so I guess this is somewhat effective. But what about you? How do you plan to get rich? How is your business plan? Or if you're already rich, please comment down below how did you get your first $1 million? And that's all for today, VGs. See you next time on Videogamy.